Okay, so first, thank you for speaking to me.
No problem.
I really appreciate that, and I hope you've had a good day so far. I'm gonna try to move through this stuff quickly because I know everybody's time is valuable.
Yeah.
I wanted to take a moment and just explain a little bit about what the heck I'm doing. Um, and so,
Okay.
the purpose of me talking to you, I've been asked by a professor. His name is Dr. David Crockett. In a consumer behavior class at the University of South Carolina's Darla Graduate School of Business, um, to do an ethnographic study. And the topic of my study specifically is female fans of professional sport in the American marketplace.
Okay.
And so I guess the purpose of an ethnographic study is to get beyond just data and beyond just sort of general analysis and get a really sort of deep dive or an emic perspective on a sort of personal level from somebody who might qualify within that topic. And
Okay.
what I understand you do. And so for the project, I incorporated a good amount of ethnographic research, which involves kind of looking online, some studies that are already published, some books and other things, and then I'll also incorporate this research in a way that sort of aggregates the data and hopefully tells an interesting story. Also, for the final part of the project, I'm asked to submit a product intervention, which means
Okay.
kind of what's missing here and what might fit that gap, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay.
So I also wanted to explain to you that with your permission, I would like to record our conversation, and
Okay.
I'll draft up a script of it. And then I'm also going to be sort of taking some notes here with my pen, just to sort of help me highlight the sort of poignant moments there.
Yeah.
The thing about
You have
our recording is that what I'll do in the final submission is that I'll actually have to blur your face, and I'll use a
permission.
fake name, so you
Okay.
can choose a really interesting name if you like, or I can make one up for you, whatever you
Okay.
like. But part of the approval for research like this is that it has to be sort of submitted with anonymity. So
Okay.
if I have your permission, I can sort of continue and start into the questions if that's all right.
Okay. You have my permission.
Thank you. And also, I wanted to add that I would appreciate it if, I've been going to business school, so a lot of the words that I'm using are kind of highfalutin $2 words. Answer these questions in your own words and sort of use your native language. Shouldn't dress it up for me
Okay.
at all, if that makes sense. And so to talk about the interview that we're doing, I'm just going to be using these questions that I've drafted as a way to sort of get an idea, generally speaking, how, again, the title of the class is Consumer Behavior, so how you, as a consumer of sport in the American market, exist, and what
Okay.
sort of all the various things. So I guess the questions might seem a little broad, but it's all about, this is your chance to tell a story.
Okay.
And I'll make it totally anonymous so you can be as truthful as you possibly can.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so the first question I wanted to ask was just to sort of tell me about sport and the role that it plays in your world.
Okay. Well, I would say within the last 2 years, it's played a much different role than it has most of my life. Growing up, like playing, like most American people, kids, playing sports, played lots in high school, played sports in college, worked in sports, went to school for sports marketing, went to grad school for sports marketing, had a sports-focused internship, a sports-focused job. It was kind of both my entertainment and my professional world, which was kind of fun that they both kind of weaved in and out of each other, that, it mattered. What happened on the field on Monday night mattered on Tuesday morning, more than from a social standpoint, like it was actually part of my job, which was very fun. Within the last 2 years, though, my husband and I have moved, and so we live in a different city now, and I no longer work at a sports agency. So sports is now not a part of my professional life and just an entertainment factor, which has been good and bad. I feel less knowledgeable. I would probably listen to a lot more sports talk radio when I sat in an office, and we listened to Mike and Mike in the morning. We listened to the Jim Rome show in the afternoon, and so now I kind of miss lots of things that I would have been more knowledgeable about now that I don't watch those things, or I don't listen to those things as much anymore. But then it's kind of fun just to be a fan now and not have to be indifferent about certain teams or certain players, because it's not now my profession.
Cool. So what, if any, sports have you acted in as a participant?
Yeah. So I grew up playing soccer, played softball and basketball also as a child, but soccer was my main sport. I still play now as an adult in adult rec leagues. I played rugby in college and was a coach for a high school team after college. And then now I still play like whatever adult rec league things I can still play. So kickball, soccer. I played broomball in the winter, dodgeball, flag football, and then had a stint of frisbee playing, also in high school and college.
That's quite a lot. Broomball is like hockey, right?
Yeah, it's like hockey on tennis shoes. And it's more like a field hockey stick. It's kind of like a paddle, more so.
Okay.
And the ball's a little bit bigger. Sorry, my phone was dying, so I've now moved to the kitchen. And so, yeah, but it's fun. I live in Michigan, and so it's cold and snowy here, but we play outside, which is cool. So they have a ice skating rink downtown that we play on at night in the winter. So it's neat.
Yeah. So what, if any, sports do you enjoy just as a spectator?
I would say I watch a lot of football. Where my husband and I are big NFL fans. We are from Indianapolis, and so the Colts are our team, no matter how bad they play or the bad decisions they make. And so I don't play a lot of football, but I always liked playing it, but I like watching it. We watch a lot of basketball, and I don't play basketball. I watch it much, much more than I ever have played it.
Cool. So tell me a little bit more about watching sports.
Yeah, I would say I watch sports a lot with my husband. He is also a former athlete and still tries to play things now, even though we're getting old and it's harder and we're not as good. But that's something that we like to do together and have enjoyed doing together since we started dating. When we've known each other for a long time, and we actually went to prom together in high school. And so our first kind of date then was Reggie Miller's last home Pacer game. And so being a Pacer fan, it was a pretty monumental game that we got to share together. And then, didn't date again until after college. But so it's kind of the Pacers and sports have kind of always been a part of our relationship.
Very cool. So when you're watching sports, is it primarily in the stadium? Do you have any habits in terms of where you like to watch?
Yeah, we're mostly a home watching people. Especially now that we've moved from Indiana. We live in Michigan, and so we have to watch. We don't get to go to things very often. I've probably been to more Pacer games than Colts games just from living in Indy, but I've got to enjoy going to. I've been to a couple Capital game when I lived in DC. I went to some Capital games and some Redskins games. So that was a fun kind of, different stadium. But I would say we are couch television sports watchers.
Cool. Probably me too. I mean, mostly because I haven't much time to go to the stadiums these days. So I think you touched on this quite a bit, but just to sort of restate, which are your preferred leagues to watch?
Yeah, I would say the NFL and the NBA.
Cool.
Are the two that would probably from a hourly standpoint probably watch more NBA just because there's more games.
Yeah.
But we still watch. Our Sundays revolve around football when the Colts play. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
With basketball. Obviously, there's a lot more you can't plan your whole life around it, but we do what we can to watch them on TV.
Very cool. And which are your preferred teams? I remember you said the Colts and
the Pacers. Yeah.
Pacers. Okay. And so, who are your preferred players? Any of those?
Oh yeah. Well, I'd probably say Paul George on the Pacers. He is one of the best all-around players in the NBA, and he had that really graphic injury a couple, two summers ago, playing for the U.S. team, and he broke his leg, and he's come back, and he's bigger and better, and so I think the Pacers are on an upswing, which is exciting, and I think a lot of it has to do with him. I like Andrew Luck. I mean, he's our quarterback. He's a weird, goofy, nerdy guy that's entertaining to listen to. And so I like him. I would say from other standpoint, I also just like women soccer players. So I liked all the teams, like Carly Lloyd on the American soccer team. I liked Abby Wambach and Cindy LaRue, and I kind of follow them on social media and keep up with what they're doing in life.
Cool. Yeah. And so, in what way or ways would you say that you're a consumer of sport and live entertainment? I guess trying to move past just watching.
Right. I mean, I would say I own lots of apparel for Colts and Pacers specifically. Most of the time, the beginning of each year it gets to the summer, all right, well, let's go get our new Colts stuff and let's get our new Pacers stuff. And so from actually tangibly buying something, apparel is probably how I'm consuming things. By not attending everything, I guess I'm not buying tickets or my husband will probably go to an away Pacer game this year. It's not me specifically, but we'll occasionally try and buy it, go see a game, and but I don't know a plan for that right now.
Yeah.
What else do I consume? I guess we have 2 TVs in our living room right now to watch things at the same time. And also, I guess we kind of mooch off of my in-laws, Sunday ticket, but, and their NBA League Pass. So I guess technically I'm consuming those 2.
How does that work? I think I'm familiar, but you got to explain it to me.
Yeah. So, Sunday ticket is you can only have DirecTV to actually purchase it on your television, through your TV. And it's just there's a Red Zone channel and you can watch every game no matter what market you're in. So, the Colts aren't on TV in Grand Rapids, Michigan, very often unless they're playing the Lions. And so this lets us stream the game. And then the same with the Pacers, the League Pass is the NBA version of the same thing. So you can watch whatever game without having to be in that market to see it on cable.
Okay. How appealing is the elements of broadcasting that aren't specifically the sport itself, but anything besides that that you might see on kind of sports broadcasting?
Wait, repeat that again?
Sorry. How appealing to you are the offerings on sports broadcasting that are not specifically the games?
Oh, I guess I don't watch a lot of other broadcast things that aren't games, I guess. I mean, besides like Sports Center
Yeah.
and
I
like
mean, that would count, right?
shows, I probably don't watch a ton of other things, I guess. We also watch a lot of golf. So I think I probably watch more like leading up, like the week of the Masters and the Ryder Cup. Like we'll have it on all day, Thursday even before it starts, or watching those kind of shows leading up is always kind of fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I like those broadcasts, and then I guess just any like Sunday morning pre-game stuff. I also play fantasy football, so if I feel like I need to listen about who's playing and who's injured, I'll try and watch, the morning pre-game shows to kind of learn about if someone's injured or something seems like a better option than the other. But I probably don't go out of my way to watch other sports broadcasting things that aren't actual games.
Cool. And how appealing are fantasy sports?
Yeah, I like fantasy sport. I play fantasy football. I tried to do the like FanDuel or DraftKings last year, and I didn't really get into that. So just the regular traditional fantasy style, or the season-long team. We've a bunch of girls that I went to grad school with play in a league, and this is our 6th year, which is, I think, kind of a lot for a group of girls to play, to have a big league every year. And then we also are in a league with a couple of other couples that we're friends with. So I do enjoy it. It's fun. It makes watching the games more fun, and caring about all the other games where it's not just your team, and it's fun to kind of talk smack to our friends.
Yeah. Speaking of talking smack, that's actually my next question. What, if any, kind of heckling do you run into as a female fan of sport in the American marketplace?
Yeah, I think heckle probably isn't as much of a word as used. Well, besides like questioning and like needing to feel like proving that I know enough to have a conversation about it. Especially now living in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where sports are a very small part of people's lives. People really don't care that much. They don't follow things. And so I'm surprised how little other people know about just generally what's happening in the sports world. Like I don't follow baseball, but I, can tell you that the playoffs are just happening and the Tigers didn't make it. But I haven't watched the Tigers game this year. I just know that happened. And so like having to be able to, make sure I know enough to have a conversation with people and not look stupid, I feel like is what you're going to run into, that most people are like, oh, you're a girl, you don't know anything. Or why do you think that? You just, lucky guess or something if I know a fact. So I feel like proving yourself as a female sports fan is, you run into that a little bit more.
Okay, very cool. And so I guess the next question I wanted to ask shifts gears a little bit, but can you think of anything, that's sort of missing, or can you think of anything that the sport and live entertainment industry isn't providing that they could be, that would appeal to you as a fan?
Yeah. Let's see. I guess I don't know if this like goes against what people do, but like any sort of content that occurs with athletes away from the field, I feel like is always something that's more exciting, and it's like exciting as a fan. I guess maybe back up, changing my answer, that I do love the show Hard Knocks. I really like watching Hard Knocks, and like getting to know, like feeling like I'm in with the team, and you find people that you like and you root for, and even though especially last year, that being the Texans and it being the same division as the Colts, I don't really like the Texans, but I always have like a softer place in my heart for them now because of watching them on a show like that. And so this year with the Rams too, and moving to LA, and I just like want them to do well because I feel like they're my friends. And so I feel like that's a power that works on me from a standpoint, a marketing standpoint, that got me hooked, and now I like the Rams. And so more ways of kind of getting that inside look, whatever that is, I feel like is something that I probably am susceptible to as a as a
That's an interesting choice of words, susceptible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hypothetically, if you were able to, if there were programming offered that sort of incorporated what you mentioned, telling some of the off-the-field stories of the players, that might appeal to you more, something along the lines of Hard Knocks?
Yeah, I loved all the 24/7s that they did, the HBO did with the hockey. I loved all the Hard Knocks episodes, like all, even like the leading up to to Olympics. Any like vignette about a player and their life, and like those always just hook me in. And so, a whole show, when it's like, oh my God, there's like 6 episodes of this, like I can watch all of, that I really enjoy that.
Very cool. And so if there were programming that incorporated some element of fantasy sports into an off the field or off the court kind of show, is that something that might appeal to you?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, from like actual them happening at the same time, like logistically, like watching a football show with the players, but about fantasy, like I don't, how would that work together? But I guess I even like the commercials when the players are talking about playing fantasy football. Like, I imagine that, yes, that would be something that I would watch.
Very cool. All right, so that sort of gets to the end of what I wanted to speak to you about. I think I got sort of a great idea of your fandom or your enjoyment of sport and live entertainment. I do always like to leave time. Are there questions that you wanted to ask me?
Are you enjoying your grad school experience?
Yes. It's not. I don't get enough sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is rewarding. I mean, to get to the end of these projects and submit them and get some interesting feedback. I got to speak to somebody who, like one of the senior writers at ESPN, and sort of pitch some product ideas and stuff like that. And that's something I don't have as much industry experience as you do, so that's unique for me.
Yeah.
But anyways, I also will provide you with my contact details. So if you want access to any of this, you're certainly welcome to it, and you can have a look at it.
Okay.
I hope it wasn't too weird. Yeah, but wow. What's his name? Her name? His name? Rusty.
The boy, yeah. He just came back inside from being outside.
Who's Rusty's favorite team?
Yes. I don't know.
No, you said you're in Grand Rapids. Aren't the Spartans there? Aren't the Michigan State Spartans?
So they're in East Lansing.
East
So
Lansing,
it's
sorry.
like less, about an hour. So, so we're right in because we're about an hour and so from Lansing, about 2 hours from Ann Arbor, where Michigan is, and about 2 hours from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of a little bit of those things, but, and some people are Lions fans, but, hasn't been a great, couple decades of being Lions fans, so people's enthusiasm is kind of dwindling.
Word, I understand. So, and you said you're originally from Indianapolis?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely gonna have to use the story of how you met your husband, or not how you met him, but you guys sharing a first date on. That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I hope I'm not keeping you guys from getting to bed. I apologize for the late call.
No, it's all right. Well, I work till 9, so I couldn't even have done it beforehand. So
right on. Did you want?
Well, hopefully I'm helpful.
Yeah, you very much. Do you have an alias? Do you have a nickname?
Oh, I don't know. Joe, do you have a good name for me? A fake name? Marty.
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 Can you pick a girl's name? All right, Marty's fine.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a girl's name. I guess Marty could be a girl's name. Like
Marty's a girl's name.
Martha?
I don't know. You can pick one. I don't have a.
Marty sounds great.
I don't have an alias that I pretend to be. So.
Well, thank you very
Whatever
much.
You would like to.
Marty, have a great evening, and I'll certainly, once I've submitted the project, it'll be online, so I can send you a link or something if you want to see it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.